Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show and welcome to the 200th episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the new theme music. I have talked to people from all over the world and all walks of life since I started this show, from comedians to animal communicators to psychics to the world's only blind filmmaker to ever write, direct, star, and produce in their own film. I have talked to all kinds of people and can't wait to see what's in store for the future. But before we get into the future, I want to dip back into the past and talk to the person who was here for the very first episode and was on more episodes than any other guest so far. Longtime listeners are going to be extremely happy to hear this person's voice again on the show. It's the one and only Mama Kate. How you doing?
Oh, me? Oh, me. Oh, you were talking about me. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm good.
Good.
Bee's knees, my friend. Bee's knees.
The last time you were on was the episode right after Christmas, but it feels like forever.
It does feel like, anymore, it feels like every day is forever. Like, was that just this morning? Because that seems like 10 years ago. It's just life every day now.
Well, you were on so much when you haven't been on for the last couple of months. I think that's what makes it seem so long ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I added it up, including today. This is your 43rd appearance on the show.
Wow.
Out of 200.
43. Wow.
Yeah. So you have been on a fourth of the shows, or a fifth of the shows.
20% of the shows.
Yeah.
Let's say.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. I mean, some might argue that I have a stake in this show.
You know, it was really hard.
I have to get my lawyer.
It was really hard for me not to try to beg you to come on in March, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but March is Mama Kate Awareness Month.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah. You know, March was such a difficult month. I spent 6 months helping my cousin as she was terminal from breast cancer. So I'd take the kids to school in the morning and then I'd go out and I'd stay with her during the day. By the time March came around, it was, it's an amazing experience, honestly. It's difficult every day to watch somebody slowly decline and slip away. It also gives you the opportunity to say things, to tie things up. Like, we had so much time together at the end. One day I walked in and come down to the end. She was having a really hard time talking. She wasn't conscious much. And I walked in one day and she opened her eyes and she looked at me and she said, I, and you know, you just kind of have to wait for a long time and let her. She said, I love. And I thought, oh my God, she's telling me she loves me. Like, this is it. I'm going to lose my shit. Like, every day I'm really good about coming in here and not being emotional. And this is it for me. You know, this is done. She was like, I love Plinko. And I was like, what?
Who doesn't?
What the hell is she talking about? Like, I didn't even know what she was talking about. And then I turn around and freaking Drew Carey is on The Price is Right on TV. And she was just excited because they were playing Plinko. Like,
hey, who doesn't? Plinko's awesome. Chris Hardwick even made a show about Plinko called The Wall. It was
she loved Plinko, by God. I mean, down to the end. I felt like, I wish I could wrap that story up with like, and then she died. Like infamous last words. But no, that was not the end at that point. But yeah, there's like, you know, Plinko and then me, like way down here.
I would really like it if you and your family were all sitting in a room one day and you start telling that story and then somebody else tells a story about how she loved Burger King.
Yeah,
there was a commercial on. It's just everything she told everybody.
Exactly, yeah. She told me she loved the dry cleaners. Like, you know.
She said Capital Cleaners was the best.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she, because, you know, the cancer was in her brain, so she wasn't all together. So maybe she was like in her mind thinking me, but like because the TV was on, like Plinko came out. That's how I like to think of it to myself. But I mean, no, yeah.
It's like on the Wheel of Fortune when they have those puzzles where they combine two different phrases.
Yep.
She was thinking "I love you," but she was also thinking that she really liked Plinko.
I do. She was really glad that Plinko was on that day. Yeah.
She was like, you know what would make this the perfect sentence? If I combine my love with my cousin,
the two together,
with my extreme like for Plinko.
Yeah. So, every day we laughed. Like that was my goal every day that I went in there. I would make her laugh at the end, smile.
Yeah.
And I did that and I have no regrets and I'm ready to get back to comedy because Jessie was, she was my number one fan. She was my number one encourager and she would bring coworkers to the Funny Bone. I mean, she'd have 20 people there for me. I mean, she, anytime I was roughly in town, she was there. Even after she'd had surgeries, had treatments, radiation, chemo, whatever, she still wanted to go out, come see me at the club. So, and get back into it and hopefully bring her into it a little bit. It's kind of a hard thing to tie into.
No, I know. I did a joke about one of my friends at a show I did at Chimneys, and it was kind of hard because it was like, I am making fun of the guy, but at the same time, I know he would absolutely love that.
And that's how Jessie was. And we grew up like just really tight. Our moms are sisters, and she's only 4 months older than me. So we grew up our entire lives together, me and her. So she wasn't just my cousin. I mean, she was like, just a best friend. And so she would get aggravated with me like a sister, like a sibling. And especially at the end, she was really aggravated because every time she'd want to get up or walk around, and I'd be like, where are you going? What are you doing? But at the same time, she had a hard time talking. So be like, where are you going? And she'd be like, you're fucking pissing. And I'm sitting here in my mind thinking, yeah, you're going to tell me I'm being a bitch and I'm fucking pissing you off. And I got to sit here, and politely wait for you to finish insulting me because it would be a dick move on my part, to cut you off. Like, that's what my life has become.
I was going to ask if you let her finish or if you just
I let her finish. I let her finish. Yeah.
If I didn't know better, I would think you were going to say that I'm pissing you off.
No,
but not
I always
you.
would let her finish. I would patiently wait every time till she got out what she wanted to say. It was at times like that where you're like, I gotta sit here and wait for you to call me a bitch.
Well, going down memory lane, we got a lot of memories from this show, me and you. The very first episode, you were the very first person to be on an episode of Martial Law, even though that was kind of me just ambushing you.
Jason's like, we're going to do this thing, and I'm going to accuse you of things.
It was basically just a punishment.
Yeah.
And then there was one between you and Stu. And you were also the first person to co-host the Dumbass of the Year episodes.
Yeah. I've been the first to do all your major news segments. And when you first asked me, I think we'd done two shows together.
Yeah.
So it's not like I knew you real well.
No. Because I remember after that show, I went home and the next day I got a friend request from you. And I was like, oh, cool. And that was very nice of her.
Yeah.
And at that point, that was the extent
of our relationship. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that show that you did, my cousin Jessie was at that show where we met. She was there with me that night. But I actually made my husband come with me to the first show because I'm like, I'm going out to the country, let's say. Like, it has a name, which I will not reveal, but it's not like Jason lives in the city. Let's say he may claim he lives in Dayton, but it's actually, like, there's two kinds of people in Dayton. In Ohio, there's people who live in the city and people who live with the cows. And you are definitely one of the cow people.
That is true. That is very true. And a lot of people over the years have brought people with them. And
I'm sure because I'm going to this person's house out of the booties. and I don't really know him that well. And you pull up and it's like an abandoned house. You're like, what kind of crazy setup is this?
I was going to say, especially back in the day, because I didn't even live here.
Yeah, exactly. This house was being redone.
I don't know if remodel's a strong enough word for what happened to this house.
They left the bones and did everything else.
And even the bones I had to piece together.
I don't know. The kitchen's still pretty intact.
Yeah.
I mean, the carpet, you can't buy carpet like that anymore.
No, they'd probably arrest you.
Jason, take a picture and post a picture of your carpet. That way people can see the classicness of this.
There's probably some kind of chemicals in that carpet the EPA banned about 20 years ago. Like, you can't use that glue anymore.
I know, that's what's wrong with Jason.
That's why it's never come up. Because the glue
you just got a carpet over it. Well, I mean, carpet in the kitchen in and of itself just dates it, period. Like, people just don't put carpet in kitchens anymore. Like, maybe the room where we have a bunch of cooking and dishes and stuff going on isn't the best place to put carpet.
My carpet was made in a textile factory in North Korea when we were still cool. That's how old it is.
Yeah, it doesn't, well, it's probably it's chemically treated so it doesn't absorb anything. Like, you could dump a gallon of water and it would just bead on top.
We'll have to test that theory.
I'd like to see your wife's face when you test that theory.
Well, she'd be thrilled.
That's true.
It's good to have you back, though.
It is good. Feels like old home. It's like the last few months just kind of been a strange dreamlike aberration because it's just so far removed from the real lifeness of it. I mean, you know what I mean? It's the most real thing I've ever experienced. It's the most affecting thing, but at the same time, like, it's just so weird.
It's one of those times when it's just so real, it turns surreal.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, I can't believe that this is happening. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't.
Yeah.
And how did I end up doing this anyway? But I'm ready to get back into comedy. Cause you know what? I tried to do the work thing. Like, I tried to be like, all right, I need to just be the responsible person with the job and the raising the kids and stop dicking around and being gone and doing shows and whatever. And that didn't work. Since I left Wittenberg, I tried to find other jobs and just nobody's interested in me. Nobody's hiring. I mean, I feel like I've got nothing to offer except comedy. Like, that's the only thing I've really ever had success at other than birthing children, which I am a champ at. But there's only so many times you can do that,
That's true.
I'm not going to become a professional breeder. So I'm just got to get back to what I'm good at. I just think some people aren't made for the 9 to 5. We're just, I feel like everybody expects everybody to fit in this tidy little adult box. You're going to work your 9 to 5. Maybe you'll work second shift or third shift, but you're going to go to your job. You're going to put in your hours. You're going to collect your paycheck, especially here in Ohio. Like, that is the expectation. And to do anything other than be the responsible box adult, you're looked down on, Oh,
I found that out.
Yeah, I mean, stay-at-home dad is not a term in Ohio that is said with kindness or respect. You know what I mean? It's expected that if you are a dad, you are working. You are doing your 9 to 5 hustle. I don't feel like everybody's that way. Everybody brings different talents to the table.
That's what gets me is a lot of people look down on it, but my wife has never been happier. And everything's cool, man. The house is pretty clean. It's dirty now because we had a lot going on this week.
Well, it's like, for every working mom that has a successful career, she has at least one other stay-at-home mom who is helping her keep her shit together. Because there are requirements to parenthood that require somebody to be available to pick up the kids if they get sick or they have to go to the hospital. They have eye doctor's appointments, dentist appointments. You have to go here, you have to go there, and they have snow days. Well, if you're working, you could lose your job over that thing. So there has to be somebody for you that you turn to that you know is home. I'm that person to a lot of people. You know, I'm that person that they know that I'm going to be there during the day. They can call me if they need somebody to go pick up this, go pick up that, go check on my aging mother down the street. And at the same time, like if I would have had a regular job, I would not have been able to spend these 6 months taking care of my cousin. That freed them up to not have to hire somebody to come in and do that. But at the same time, my aunts and uncles will look down at me because I don't have a job. You know, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. How I try to look at it is, how do I think my life's going and how happy am I?
Yeah.
And you seem kind of unhappy because at the very least, you got plenty of time to sit and judge me, and I'm not thinking about you.
Yeah, well,
So,
you know,
who's
we don't
coming
have
out
new
ahead?
cars. We took our kids out of private school, you know, because we couldn't afford those things. But to me, it's not worth working and not being able to do the things that I want to do so that I can have a new car. So who cares? My minivan's 18 years old. I don't care. Is that important to you? Because that's not where my priorities are.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, but
Even though I'm a guy, I've never been a car person. So I don't give a shit. I mean, I want to drive something that looks decent. I don't want to just ride around in a rust bucket from the 20s.
And the older I get, just the more I just don't care. Like, I just don't care what other people think. Forget it. And I was really worried when I stopped doing comedy. The kids were younger and their friends and their parents were starting to become aware of what I was doing, and they were watching videos and they were wanting to come to shows. It was kind of uncomfortable because I had this, you know, what are they going to think? They're going to be offended, you know, blah, blah, blah. And anymore, I don't care. I just don't care. If you don't like me, turn it off. Turn off the podcast. I'm annoying you. Fast forward. You know, Jason's got more people coming. You don't have to listen to me rant. You know, you don't like the way I dress? Look away. You don't like the car I drive? Don't fucking ride in it. You know, I don't care.
That's one nice thing is I've built this life for myself where I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Jason's like, I talk to people, but none of them are in my face.
Yeah. And if I don't like you, I just never talk to you again. And 5 days to 5 weeks from now, I probably forgot you ever existed.
Yeah.
Because I'm in my own little world and it's awesome.
The more that I'm home by myself, the more I want to be home by myself. Like I have, you know, when I was younger, I had to be with people all the time. Like I just wanted to be around people, having fun, like never wanted to be alone. Now I love to be alone. I'm starting to think that I'm like, maybe I should just be a hermit, because as soon as like the kids come home from school, my husband comes home, I'm like, God damn it, people talking to me, stop talking. Like the dogs don't talk to me, so just be quiet, you know?
Well, one last question for you. What is your future with the podcast? Is this a one-time thing? Are you coming back?
This is probably it. I'm done.
You know what's really funny? I don't even think you know this, but I had intros made for the show. One was to introduce Benny Mac as my co-host for the Dumbass of the Year episodes. I think I used that one time, and he wasn't able to do the episodes anymore, and I completely just cut the Dumbass of the Year thing out of the show altogether. But I was also making you your own show, where it was going to be the We Don't Have Cookies retro show with Jason and Mama Kate. Yeah. Did I tell you about that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun, and it would be a monthly thing.
Yeah.
And I had somebody make the intro, and her name's Maya. A lot of people out there, you guys know her. She had the hardest time saying retro because she's got a lot of German affects in her vocabulary. And she kept wanting to say it different ways. We finally got a good take, and I never used it.
Well, you know, right now I'm just a font of free time, and all the kids are out of school in like 2 weeks, so I pretty much need any reason to leave the house. Like, oh my God, it's such a nightmare. All these people home in my space all the time. I find summer very stressful because I cannot ever be alone. Mm-hmm. I feel like I spend all my time just playing this prolonged hide and seek game with the kids where I'm trying to get away from them and they're finding me. So that I like pop out. I'm like, here I am, you know, come downstairs and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Mom, I need you to sign this. Mom, I'm going here. Mom, I need new shoes. Mom, my bike's stolen. And then I just go and I'm like, okay, but I got to go to the bathroom. So then I sit in the bathroom for a half hour. And then I can hear them coming. They're like, where's Mom? Has anybody seen Mom? Is she still in the bathroom? I'm like, damn it. So I got to pop out again and be like, here I am. And then they throw some more stuff at me. Yeah. So like that's like my whole day during the summer. And then it gets to be like 11 and midnight. And I'm like, you guys need to go to bed. Like seriously. But then my daughter's home from college and my son's 17. So, you know, they're just chilling and hanging out. I'm like, I know that we're cool and all. And you're older now, but I still don't want to sit and hang out with you all night. Like, I still need you to go away. It's not you. I just need for nobody to be around me for a while. Just nobody.
I still try to do that with my youngest daughter. And it's like, I know it's the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to go to bed. She's like, but it's the weekend and I'm older now. It's like, well, see, my concern, hon, is you have to get up at a certain time during
you
the
have
week.
to maintain
and
schedule.
I don't want you to just, you know, you're really going to be suffering for this on Monday, but it's Friday. Honey, I know this is very irrational and it seems like it's only for me, but trust me.
I need you to go away because I need you to stop talking. Well, because I'll try to read a book or play a game or do something, but then somebody's always like breaking in and talking and breaking in and talking, breaking in and question or comment, blah, blah, blah. I just need that uninterrupted space to complete a thought. Like one whole thought, maybe two. You know, maybe I might come up with something worth writing down. I never have that time to just think or just be, you know, or just do anything that's not going to be interrupted. And I just need to know that nobody is around me. Nobody's going to interrupt me. Like, is that too much to ask? It is.
The amount of kids you have, I would say yes.
With 6, and then they all want to have friends over. And I'm all about having friends over because honestly, it's better when there's more because they keep each other occupied. I'll have a dozen kids at my house, but they're all playing out in the yard having a high old time. I'd rather have a dozen kids out in my yard playing together than have 2 kids at home with nobody to play with. That's the worst because then they want me to play with them. What makes you think I want to play with you? I didn't have kids because I was like, oh, I need some playmates. You know, like I really just wish I could play Barbies all day. No, I don't want to play with you. In fact, I try to be as boring as humanly possible around them. I do things that require like no assistance. Can I help you? No. How are you going to help me read this book? You can't help me. Go away. Like, you know.
You play with the Barbies, but you want to make sure the dress is symmetrical in every possible way. Then they just get bored. Like, all she wants to do is just primp their clothes.
Yeah. Or
she doesn't even play anything.
My other favorite thing to do is puzzles. And like everybody comes, you know, and they like start the puzzle, but then they're like, after a few minutes, they're like, all right. And they walk away. Mm-hmm. Until I get down to like the last 100 pieces. And I always do 1,000-piece puzzle or so. I like a challenge. And I work it and I work it and I work it until it gets to the easy part where you can just pick up the pieces and immediately see where they're going because I've already done the other 900 pieces. And then that's where all of a sudden they're out in the woodwork, like filling in pieces. I have woken up and had my puzzle finished. That to me is just an offense. You should not finish someone's puzzle for a puzzle they've been working on for like 2 or 3 days. And you're just going to go in and pop those last 5 pieces in. Screw you.
Have you ever grounded anybody for that?
It's been close. It's been close. The last time it was Cecilia who did it. And when I went to bed, there was still probably 100 pieces or so. And she sat down for like an hour and just did the last hour of the puzzle, which is of course the most satisfying part of the whole process. And when I woke up, I about wanted to smack her in the head. Like, how dare you? How dare you? Oh. So I do boring things that people tend to think are boring just to try to make them go away. Like I want to be as uninteresting as possible. That way they don't want to talk to me or have anything to do with me.
Well, it's worked because you are going away. We have a lot of people for the rest of the show. I'm going to play a song real quick and we will be back with my next guest.
I like to talk about the weather. I like to talk about the weather. I like to talk about the weather. It's the most fascinating thing I know. I like to talk about science, how humidity affects prevailing winds. I talk about the atom and the speed of light, but everybody turns away. They say I'm boring, kinda boring, but I have a lot of things to say. I'm boring, kinda boring, but I really think that I'm okay. I like to read the morning paper and tell everyone the secrets I have learned. The economic forecast and the classifieds and the bridge column most of all. 'Cause I'm boring, kinda boring. Do people think that I'm a fool? I'm boring, sorta boring, but I'll show you all that I am cool. 'Cause I can rap. That's right, I'm boring, a real L7. Vanilla ice cream's my idea of heaven. Heaven, that's a place that I call home. Nobody calls me on the phone. They don't fax, they don't text, they don't email me. I got a page on Facebook to see all my relations that become platonic when I show my collections of comics. 'Cause I got Batman and Superman and Turkey Man. He can sort of think he's flying. He gets the criminals with the gobble punch. Sometimes it bothers me that when I'm in the room, people leave. But I've got someone to talk to, at least until my bunny rabbit dies. I like to talk about my bunny. I like to talk about my hair. I like to talk about my stamp collection. I bring it everywhere. 'Cause I've got first day covers. I got first day covers of all the stamps from the 1976 Olympics. That was 32 years before Adrian was born. Truly boring. But I really think that I'm okay. I'm boring, really boring. But nobody calls me on the phone. I'm boring, really boring. But I'm never bothered by telemarketers.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. You're listening to We Don't Have Cookies.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
My next guest has been on the show a few times this year. She's been on Late Night with David Letterman and The Bob and Tom Show. It's comedian and psychic Karen Rontowski. How you doing, Karen?
Good, Jason. And I'm sorry, I was out with my dog on this beautiful walk, and I said, usually when I walk, people can hear the birds and everything, and it sounded perfect. And then somebody started a damn leaf blower. So I'm literally running around the corner so I can get to where it's quiet. I hope you can hear me. There, that should be good. Hey, happy 200.
Thank you. You know, since we've talked, I have become a medium.
Nice.
Yeah. I started a new diet and exercise program, and up until last week, I was a large. So.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome. So you're channeling smaller pants.
Exactly.
Good for you. Oh, my God, that's great.
You're a vegan, right?
I am a vegan. In fact, I'm looking to make my dog vegetarian because he's having some digestive trouble. So my whole house will be meatless.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope.
Until recently, I couldn't imagine eating that way. I've realized lately I've unintentionally had quite a few vegan meals, and I'm starting to really like it.
Oh, good. Well, when you do it right, it's neither painful nor do you miss anything because, well, I shouldn't tell you this because your diet is going so well. They have vegan ranch dressing. They have vegan mayonnaise. They have vegan meat. And it used to be terrible, but they really got it down now. Oreos are vegan. Nutter butter cookies are vegan. So you can screw up a vegan diet just as easily. So you'll never be lacking.
Well, I had a vegan burger. I never liked veggie burgers, but this thing is called the Beast Burger. And it was really good. It tastes exactly the same as a hamburger. I was really impressed. I'm thinking about starting to go vegan for the exact opposite reason that I think is part of why you went vegan. You're into animal rights and things like that, which is great. I think I'm going to become a vegan to go the exact opposite way, where I think we just need to get rid of all the pigs, cows, and chickens now, and we'll have more room and every state gets a Disney World.
That's right. There you go.
We don't need them anymore. Good news, folks.
You really thought that through. That's terrific. That's funny. Vegans for Disney World.
That's the hashtag. I love it.
Yes. And, yes, and then you can put hashtag remember French fries are vegan. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's so great. What a good turnaround year for you.
Yeah, it's been a great time. And the last couple of weeks, tried to keep everybody up to date on how my health process is going, and things are going good. I just finished up my doctor appointment. Everything's looking up. But
good.
I want to announce that Karen is now officially the psychic of the We Don't Have Cookies podcast. And I just want to officially welcome you to the We Don't Have Cookies family.
Yay! Thank you.
And everybody out there, if you haven't heard Karen before, there's plenty of episodes you can listen to in the archive, but you can also go to WeDon'tHaveCookies.com. She'll have her own bio in the bio section. Go there and look at all the things she's involved in, her social media and stuff like that. And she will.
And I want to give your listeners, our listeners, I guess now, right?
That's right.
Our listeners, a special coupon if they want to book a reading.
Nice.
And it's WDHC. That we'll put WDHC 10.
All right.
That?
Sounds great. I also want to let everybody know that Karen will be on in June for my birthday episode and in August for the 3-year anniversary episode. I'm really looking forward to having you back on for a longer stay. Is there anything you would like to say before you go?
I want to say if you keep going vegan and losing weight, you're going to have to change your logo.
Hey, now the name of the show is very appropriate because I don't have any cookies in my house.
Oh, don't antagonize me to mail you some vegan cookies. Oh my God. Thanks, Jason, and congratulations.
Thank you for being on. I'm going to play a Bad Life Coach segment by Dave Nelson, who will also be on the show, and I'll be back.
Needing help to remove any obstacles or challenges that might be holding you back from success in your business or personal life? Let me help you create a course of action that will take you to the next level personally and professionally with some Bad Life Coaching. And remember, it's not your fault, you just weren't feeling it.
I'm Rhoda Young. I'm on the scene of this bitch, and you are listening to We Don't Have Cookies.
My next guest first appeared on the podcast in May of last year with the debut of his segment, Fake Advice for New Comics. He also does the Bad Life Coach segment. It's comedian Dave Nelson. How you doing, Dave?
Doing good. How are you doing, Jason?
Pretty good, man. I've heard you talk recently about leaving the world of stand-up comedy. Where do you stand with that right now?
Right now, it's in I would say purgatory is where it stands right now. It's one of those things. And I know you sent me an email about that, and it was very heartfelt. And, it had a lot of the things that I think about. And I think I've been hitting it as hard as I can while working a full-time job and somewhat be good at my full-time job. Mm-hmm. And I've just hit that glass ceiling. So it's just kind of reassessing what do I want to do, and am I stealing stage time? And I mean, there's just a lot of things going on in my head, and maybe just kind of take a moment and recharge the batteries and come back with some new material, new perspectives, and maybe be stronger. Or maybe like I enjoy just loafing around and doing normal stuff and not driving out, coming home at 2 or 3 in the morning after getting paid $25 and wondering like, geez, if gas had not gone up a quarter, I think I would have broke even this time.
So how do you think that possibly leaving the world of stand-up might affect your podcast, Comedy A Go-Go? Because a lot of that is you talking about inside comedy things and what's going on as far as you as a performer. I know you had a segment where you were doing a workshop on a joke and how that was progressing. Where do you see that evolving?
That is a great question. That's one of the things I've been thinking about. It is like, for the last 3 years, the podcast has been it sounds cheesy and we should hold hands and do kumbaya. And I've become like a motivational speaker and start coming up with cliche statements and start going on the road with Tony Robbins here. But, I think it's been a journey for the last 4 years, more 3, that what do I want out of stand up? And I've gone through these phases of like, okay, I don't want to quit. I don't hate stand up, to what do I get from it? So I think it's naturally evolved into this, like, should I step away from it and then morph the podcast into something else? What that is, I don't know. I mean, that could be just as a fan of stand up, and it could become like a more news oriented type thing. I think the title in and of itself gives me a lot of latitude, and I feel like I'm pivoting on this question, Jason, and I'm not answering it. Like I feel like I'm politicking you on it. So, but that's something I've been thinking about lately. And I guess when I kind of decide if I'm just going to walk away from it, decide maybe I quit doing the podcast too, because I've been hard charging it with the podcast. I think I'm getting close to 350 here. That's a good run.
Yeah.
So who knows? I'd like let's leave as a quote Tom Petty, wide open. I don't know why I'm quoting lyrics that I don't know officially off the top of my head. Out of the great wide open.
Would you ever consider making it a video version where it's on YouTube and it has like a 70s theme as far as the backdrop goes? You play some kind of 70-ish music with some go-go dancers and you talk to comedians.
I'm always open to ideas. That is, I'd have to find two people who'd want to dance behind me. That's the first problem, male or female. And then I would have. So I don't know. I mean, I think the way social media is playing out, I'd like to play with the format more too. And definitely the video thing is something I want to be working on, but not deal with comedy, deal with something different, just to keep up with the kids.
Well, being a comedian, you know how they give you the light at a comedy show when you're on stage. They, for people who don't know, they flash a light in the back of the room to let you know you got about a minute left and you need to get off. What you could do on the video version of yours, just to let the guests know that you're winding things down without abruptly stopping, you could just have a little disco ball come down from the ceiling. And when the disco ball is fully visible, they know you've got about a minute left. I need to get my plugs in.
I'm going to go back to like when I started out and I was doing open mics in Kansas City. And when you hear people don't know, some people who don't know about the light or has not been educated, or some people don't care about it, it's just a suggestion that can stop. And I remember one of the club owners who was in it as a club, and he, you got the light, like, cool. And the dude just kept going. So the club owner walked up to the front of the stage and just flashed the light right in front of his face. And the dude just kept going. I was like, that's pretty. It was just one of those like you go to open mics and, like, I don't know, a couple times a year you're going to see some stuff that it's just going to be ingrained in, and like part of your comedy class. Go, remember that time? And you just kind of reminisce about like all the craziness. But yeah, the lights, it means you should get off, but not everybody takes it that way.
Well, Dave, I want to thank you for being part of the We Don't Have Cookies family for the past year. Is there anything you want to promote before you go?
Check out Comedy A Go-Go, and thanks for letting me be a part of the family. It's always cool. I think the coolest part of doing this whole social media networking podcasting thing is you get to meet people from all over, and you're one of these. I'll call you my friend. Maybe I imagine we'll meet sometimes. It seems but like just that family and watching and hearing your success is really, really awesome. It's always cool. Always brings a smile to my face.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And everybody out there listening, make sure you follow him on Twitter. It's hey_snowflake. And you can see all the hashtag fake advice for new comics tweets out there, and the Bad Life Coach too. I'm going to play a song real quick and I'll be back.
It's always in the last place you look. It's Sod's Law. That's where you'll find what you're looking for. But don't get frustrated, don't swear or curse. All you have to do is look in the last place first.
Hi, this is Rebecca Love. You might have seen me on HBO, Skinamax, or Showtime, because you're dirty like that. But guess what? I am on We Don't Have Cookies.
My next guest is a little unexpected. She just called me, and listeners may remember her from a few months ago. She's a comedian based in the UK, dedicated to spreading the awareness of Switzerland and all things Swiss. It's Fran Kissling. How you doing?
I am good. I just called in to check to see if you've been doing the Swiss quiz like you agreed to.
To be honest, I kind of thought you were going to do that, so I haven't been doing it.
I'm extremely disappointed. I will call in myself to make sure it doesn't happen again. This is terrible.
I do apologize. I promise that I'll do better from here on out, and I think you calling in, that'll help a lot. If there's anything I can do, I would appreciate trying to make this up to you.
It's hard to say how disappointed I really am, because you, like I know, this cause is very, very important. Don't do this again.
I promise.
I think you need to consider the severity of what you haven't done. You'll need a break to think about it.
You know, I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to play a song real quick, and I'll be back.
I'm glad we're moving on, that we've both gotten over it. Our breakup was pretty bad there for a while. I look back and feel stupid. It's stupid I was mad. I've been so juvenile. But now that's all over, and peace has been made. And there's just one little thing unsaid that needs to be said. So like that time a guy drove by and threw a sandwich at your head. That was me. Last Thursday night when the nightclub said they lost your coat. That was me. Social Security believes that you are dead. Thanks to me, when in the shower you found that tongue instead of soap. Well, that was me. That was me. I feel really good. The truth is coming out, and I'm just glad we didn't let things go too far. I may have spent $591.18 ruining your life, but I can't afford to let our friendship fall apart. Thank God that's all over. The pain's at an end, and we can be happy as friends. I think enough time has passed that we can look back and laugh. I know I can. The last 3 chapters of all your books that were all torn out. That was me. Who signed you up for the Scientology mailing list? That was me. Somebody peed in your Brita. And that somebody was me. And who wrote that email virus hoping it would get to you? And I'll bet it did. That was me. That was me. Someone told you I was sorry in a note left on your door. That was my roommate, and because of that, he's no one's roommate anymore. I think we've learned a lot from this. God knows I have. 'Cause I've learned how to sign your name and plug your drain and make it rain and plant drugs and drug your plants and shrink your pants, post videos of you throwing up in your hands. And I was responsible for the events of September 11th, 2008, the year somebody stuck a banana in your grandma's tailpipe. And when I say tailpipe, I'm really sorry. And that time you thought that there was just one more stare. That was me. And when that guy hit your new boyfriend with a bat, that was not me. But he did it on my behalf for a fee. That filled in crossword, that was me. Your new car was dirty. Someone wrote wash me on the hood with a key and shot your dog into space. And that time you got drunk at the costume party and hooked up with that Japanese dude that never called you back. And on that online message board, who said you should go rent Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? actually do it. That was me, the old me.
I am UFC Hall of Famer Dan DeBeSeverin, and you're listening to We Don't Have Cookies. You had better listen, otherwise I know where you live.
It looks like the podcast is back on track starting today. It was great to have Mama Kate back on the podcast again, and I'm sure she'll be back sooner rather than later. I'm also looking forward to the Swiss quiz taking place soon. I want to thank my other guests, Dave Nelson and Karen Rontowski. It was good to catch up with them. This week's music was a song called Boring by the Arrogant Worms, Sod's Law by Barnaby Griffin, and The Old Me by Mike Phirman. If you're a new listener or haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do that, because on the next episode, Rhoda Young is going to be on to talk about her stand-up comedy debut at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone. You don't want to miss that. The podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, SiriusXM, Spoke, Stitcher, and anywhere podcasts are available, including Roku and YouTube. That's it for me this week. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
I love Plinko.